There we go. I'm going to switch to this interface. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's everyone doing? I'm going to double check on YouTube, especially since notorious for messing up our community calls. But I think today everyone was able to see we will start soon on time, and the timer went off. And I believe everyone can hear us. Awesome. Cool. Awesome to see you all. I think it's been a while for us, especially. Hope everyone had a great holiday break. I know some of you got to spend some time with your family. Most of our team members also got to do that. So it's really good. And we're very excited to, first of all, wish you all a very happy new year. And this is going to be a very big year for us. But I think you might wonder, there's a few new faces. So first, I'll sort of go through a few action items and I'll sort of discuss what we're going to be discussing on today's community call. So most importantly, I will first address the testnet phase 2, the concerns, the insights, what's next. After that, we'll briefly talk about some product updates, then some new team members that I wanted. A couple of them are already on the call. There's also this bigger vision I want to talk about, what we are up to this year. At the end, we will do a Q&A in the live chat. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, so we are streaming on Twitter as well today, you can leave your comments there. The best place is to obviously leave it on YouTube because we can sort of mark those comments. But happy to sort of compile all that at the end. And there's obviously our general channel on Discord as well, where we usually monitor questions. So yeah, with that being said, I think I'll jump straight into phase 2 updates for the beginning. And Michaela is controlling this today, so this is awesome. I get to just speak. Cool. So in general, we're very excited about how phase 2 went. We had about 1,000 registrations at the beginning. It was quite the challenge on trying to figure out the possible way to 5,000 folks that we initially planned. Right? So we invited pretty much everyone, and hope some of you had a chance to try out our wildcard program that had a referral, even another additional NFT. That's something we announced just before the holidays. So that was a really massive success. We had about 6 to 7 participants who attempted a task. And that's pretty amazing. And I think our challenge has been, how do we sort of reward them uniformly? So instead of coming up with a rank, I think I mentioned this on our previous call, I hinted that we're going to be getting rid of leaderboards. So as long as I'm getting some comments that the stream is laggy. So let me double check. Let me double check on YouTube. Is this YouTube? YouTube says it's a connection. Twitter says it's excellent as well. If someone can drop in chat if they're having some challenges with the stream. Let me see. Yeah, YouTube is actually saying excellent, but let me double check the dashboard one more time. Yeah, it says excellent over there. Looks good. Okay, awesome. I'll just continue. Maybe it's lagging for a few folks, so I'm hoping it's not a issue. So there is a So if you go to our Twitter link, there is another stream running there. Hopefully that is a little less laggy, and that should take care of this as well. So it does say my video is lagging. So that's interesting. That is usually not the case. Okay, let me double check if I can fix this somehow. Okay, I rejoined. Hopefully that should take care of it. All right, if someone in the team can sort of give me a heads up if as long as my audio is fine, I think that's more important. Yeah, I do see the restream interface itself as being a little laggy on YouTube when I'm looking at the output on YouTube. Okay. Anyway, cool. All right, we are doing a recording. Hopefully we'll have a better recording that we can post as well. Okay, I'm just going to turn off. There's too many notifications from everywhere that is coming in. All right, coming back to our piece 2 update. So the next step for after people had done their task was how do we KYC folks? Now this is something that I think we made it very clear even when we did the phase 1 of the testnet, and there was some miscommunication on, or rather misunderstanding on some user side that whether KYC was not mandatory. What we had said was for you to attempt tasks, of course, we're not forcing you to KYC because that would be too much, right? So you report your personal information. So we said, hey, take a look at tasks. If you think that that's something that you want to do, then you can attempt the KYC. So even when we were in invite-only mode, we used to give out a link. So you could go and test if the KYC is possible. And for all purposes, no one is going to charge you for that. As a matter of fact, we pay the cost of every individual KYC, even if it's failed. So we pay the cost as well. So we made sure that that was completely covered by us. And if you have an existing CoinList account, then it's pretty much instant. You just follow the link, and then you click a few buttons, and then your KYC gets done. And so I think we actually did get a lot of successful KYCs towards the end. I do see the feedback on a bunch of people who couldn't quite get it approved yet. We are working with the CoinList team, so please, there was an announcement that I did make on the final day, just before the deadline. So we're giving it a little more time. So as long as you started the KYC before 31st, right? So as long as you at least submitted a document, we will consider that for your eligibility into the phase 2, right? So what we have done now is we have closed all signups, and if there's issues with Merkle, I will address that in the next section. But right now, as long as you've sort of kickstarted your KYC, we will make sure that it's resolved. Now, doesn't mean we can guarantee that it will be approved, right? So that's completely up to CoinList. We don't have any transparency into what happens behind the scenes because it's sensitive information. So all they notify us is whether it's pending, successful, or failed, right? So if it needs a review, they will go and review it. So we will actually ask them to expedite all the KYCs this week. So anything that is pending will at least either get approved or rejected depending on the documents. And anyone who's stuck, you might want to check your email. They might have sent you some more follow-up questions on some documents that they need. And those who have been previously failed or banned, please keep in mind, CoinList is very, very particular about this. They usually don't allow you to KYC again. And that's kind of unfortunate. So we are taking this feedback and we are thinking about what can we do the next time we run such a program. And we're looking at other partners, but right now this was very important, right? So we could not use another third party, and you have to understand they are one of the best ones in the space to make as much as difficult KYC for. Okay. The second part is to deal with Merkle itself. The Merkle team has acknowledged that they did have a lot of data issues towards the end of the program. So I remember they had sort of resolved most of it, but there was something that happened just towards the end. And so they are working on it. There's a few folks, so I would really like you to be a little more patient. As long as you've done the tasks, so those XP points will be rewarded, right? It's as simple as that. So no new people can come in. Obviously, you cannot refer people, so the referral task is closed. But if you have ensured that you've done, especially on-chain tasks, Powerloom is able to monitor anyway. So that's not a big problem. But anything like a social task or a KYC task that is not showing up as an approved, they're going to work on it and fix that as well. And I think people who are in chat, I would love for folks to acknowledge those who got the gas incentive from us, right? So that was something that we sent it out to every individual, and this is something I think some of you definitely call it out on Discord, and really appreciate that. And that was a gas incentive from our side. We just wanted to appreciate folks who were doing on-chain tasks as well. All right. So we don't have a certain timeline for distribution of the final rewards, which is essentially the tokens associated with it. We had made it very clear when we hit mainnet is when the tokens will be rewarded. There will be a confirmation step when we end the program officially, when Merkle has resolved all the issues. We'll reach out to all the folks who are eligible. So this only means people who have KYC'd. And if you haven't, we will still send an email double checking your KYC status. So everyone will get a notification, whoever has attempted at least 100 XP worth of Merkle tasks, right? So we'll reach out to you guys to double check and confirm. And there will obviously be a confirmation of your final reward that we will not be sending immediately, but at least we will acknowledge that, hey, this is what you're going to be getting, right? And there were some folks who definitely found some loophole. They were trying to play around the Merkle interface because obviously that was off-chain, and they were trying to get XP in the wrong way. If you've done it accidentally, we will just ignore that and we will just remove the XP. But if it is clearly intentional, because there were obviously some accounts that we found that were just trying to refer each other and they found some sort of a loophole, we will not be giving you any rewards because that's against the terms and conditions. So please be nice, because there's a reason why we increase the rewards, and we wanted to reward everyone fairly. So doing things like that doesn't help, because it takes away time from us, it takes away time from Merkle, who has to go take a look on what happened. So on that note, I think most of the folks definitely did it fairly. So that's really awesome to see. And I also wanted to give a shout out to our snapshotters. So the phase 1 snapshotters who had actually already completed their program, but they were super nice enough to run this. So if our snapshotters are in YouTube or Twitter chat, would love to see some hands up so I can call out some names. But otherwise, a big thank you to all of you for running your snapshotters for the phase 2 program. That really helped us and our product and engineering team to sort of verify the data that was being stored. So that was like our big use case that we wanted to test. That was something built for phase 2, but now as a Powerloom data market. All right. So as usual, I'll be handling all the Q&A at the end, but we are compiling it. So Michaela is sort of keeping a track of all the questions. So please keep them coming. So yeah, moving to that next part, I wanted to introduce some of our new team members. So first of all, I think I will bring on Mukund. He is our protocol engineer who joined us very recently, and he'll be working on some really cool things. Mukund, if you want to come on stage and maybe speak briefly.
Okay. So hi guys, my name is Mukund, and I recently just joined Powerloom, maybe like exactly a week ago. Yeah, I remember Wednesday was my first day here. But earlier, I was working at something called the Quicksilver Protocol. We were working with liquid staking, but initially my journey began with Microsoft. Then I moved on to the startups because I was like, you know what, corporate work, it's too comfortable. I'd like a little bit of thrill in my life. So here I am. I am thrilled for sure. Like, great to be here. Thanks. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you, Mukund. And so Michaela on stage, yourself. Michaela is actually going to be handling a lot of these calls moving forward. So not only her introduction, but she's already sort of managing this behind the scenes at the moment, but she'll be doing most of these things sort of handled. But I will still be on the call, so don't worry about, I'm not going anywhere. You'll just be running the introductions. So Michaela.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And yes, I've been playing in the backstage. It's been fun, and no one will miss Swaroop because he will be here. He will be around. It's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you. I'm discovering the Powerloom world. It's really fascinating. There's so many surprises this upcoming year, and I'm here to create experiences for the community, to get us all together, to get us all really bonding and creating an ecosystem we're proud of. And yeah, I hope we can experience a lot together this year. And what's to come?
Awesome. All right. So I think probably Michaela, how do you want to sort of handle for the community? I think in terms of doing new things, we can probably have a quick chat about do you have some things planned in IRL or maybe even for online? Maybe you want to talk about that a bit.
Yes, of course. And thank you for putting me on the spot. There's a lot of things being planned for this year, a lot of gatherings where the community can get to know each other, get our team, get the people that is involved, and understand better what our network is about. I'm not going to reveal names of our projects, but there's a lot of IRL things happening. We're going to be in some major conferences as well, creating and just getting people together, getting people to build with us. And also we are launching several programs where we can get more people involved, where we will be launching an ambassador program, getting some local meetups around the world. So keep yourselves updated with us. So if anyone is interested in being part of building with us, our doors are open for that. We'll start releasing some news soon, but if you are interested and you want to participate in the community, I invite you all to be on the Discord, to be in our socials, and we'll be informing you on how to be involved soon. I don't want to spoil the surprises.
Awesome. Cool. So I think I wanted to briefly mention about some of the engineering updates that are happening, product update as well. But I'll talk about the bigger 2024 that we have in mind as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Varu.
You're on stage.
Yeah, thanks, Varu. I hope you can hear me clear. Yeah, thumbs up. All right, awesome. So, yeah, the year actually began on a very exciting note. Mukund literally joined us. Mukund, like, when was it? Second, I think. Like, you were there in office, and we got started working on some really new, cool stuff, right? So that part is essentially, like, I'll say it in very brief, is that we are very close to implementing pretty much all of the roles that this network, that the entire vision of the network has, and then trying to enable, like, different sort of incentives for these different categories of peers, making sure that we continue to operate on a even more trustless way where you can start consuming information, right? So that is something that we have been working on behind the scenes. Mukund is obviously very excited to join us from the very first day. And I'm sure you must have met Akshay also by now, a senior protocol engineer. So all of us are coming together, and we have some really, really cool DeFi engineers also on board. So we are on our way to support a lot of different use cases, peers, etc. Right? So yeah, just wanted to kind of drop a little, tidbit about that.
Awesome. Right. Thank you, Anamit. The interface is definitely lagging even for me to switch people around today. That's new. Okay, no worries. At least the stream is working well. Okay. Yeah, I think in terms of the 2024, right? So people, I mean, it's very cliched, like everyone loves to say, this is the year. But for us, this is it, right? This is the year we go to mainnet, and that's where, I mean, that's the simplest answer I can give you. So all of our effort is as a team, whether it's an engineer, community member, marketing, business, whoever is in the company is working towards making that happen. We don't have a date yet, but we will be communicating with you folks more frequently as we get closer to it. And once we have that final date, we'll be sharing with you, right? So one important thing that people don't realize is that they usually confuse mainnet with some sort of a token, right? So for example, we don't have a token yet either, but a token and a mainnet is two different things. So most times for certain networks, they tend to do it around the same time. So the token comes out and then the mainnet goes out. So for us, mainnet is the day we believe the protocol can handle the incentives on its own, right? When it's fully decentralized, there's no whitelist for snapshotters. People will go through, use the protocol the way it's supposed to be designed. So that's why it's very, very critical for us. So we have worked really hard for many, many years to make this happen. So we're not going to rush it, but at the same time, making that promise, right? So it's happening this year. And once we're very close to that date, I will make sure that it's communicated to the community. Of course, those who are on Discord constantly get this update. So I try my best to sort of read most of the chat messages on general. I'm very thankful to our moderators. I wanted to give a shout out, especially to Umar and Sony. They've been helping you guys out, especially through so many questions during the holidays, because there was like even more activity. Big shout out to them to answering all of them. And that makes my life easy, because earlier there was a time in which, if some of you know us from the beginning, I used to literally monitor that Discord myself when we started with like 500 or so Discord users, and it has now grown to 15,000. Same goes for our Twitter. I think we crossed 10,000 towards the end of the year, which is pretty awesome as well. So yeah, that's like our main goal when it comes to even the token as well. So obviously the token will go live either with the mainnet or just before that. So that's something that we are working with certain partners to make that happen. There's a few things that will come in between. Our main goal is the token should only exist when it brings some sort of utility and purpose to the network, right? So otherwise there's no need. Like, we don't want something where people just speculate or talk about it, which is why, if you notice, we've never had one. Even from the beginning, we never had like some sort of a governance token for that reason as well. So we're working hard to make that happen. We have some extended team members who obviously don't come on these calls. So just to give you a head count, we are like 11 full-time folks now. And I think when I first started these calls, we were like 3 people. So that's pretty awesome. And then we have an extended team of about 5-6 folks. So probably closer to 17 or 18 now. And so there's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make that happen. And so all of these dates will sort of be communicated. So everything is happening as we speak. The one big thing that we are working on is what Anumit talked about, is scaling the network, right? So we took that feedback that we got even from our phase 1, then we tested it in phase 2 with our snapshotters, and we are trying to figure out how do we make snapshotting even more easier for folks who may not be even super tech savvy. Can they contribute to the network, right? So this is one of the big challenges the industry has. It's very much with folks who have certain amount of money or stake, right? So I'm not going to name like certain competitors, but most of them require you to sort of stake some exorbitant amount of money, which is whatever, whether it's equivalent in their tokens, but it's still money for somebody else, right? So if you don't have the tokens, you have to sort of buy that from the market and become an indexer or whatever that is, right? So for us, that goal has always been very simple. So I think our snapshotters can agree. We made it super simple. You can deploy from a very simple server right now. You can go on GitHub code spaces. So if you guys have checked out our blog post about it, written by our DevRel, Shantanu, on how you can one-click deploy as well, you don't even need servers. And we're trying to figure out how can we make that even easier, right? So that's our big goal. And I think I will sort of drop some hints maybe at the end of the call on what we are working towards making that happen as well. I can't reveal too much. I think some of the people have already started guessing, and those of you who came for the AMA with I think with Sammy yesterday might have heard a few things as well. So that's it's exciting to the only reason we're keeping under the wraps is and I'll sort of address that at the end of the reason why as well. So maybe I think it's time we do some Q&A, because I see it's already 26 minutes on the clock, Michaela. I think it's best just two of us can come on stage. You can read out the questions and I can answer them. How about that?
Okay, let's do that. There we are. There's a couple questions on our YouTube, and there's others incoming. The first one is, what's the ratio for XP to Loom?
I didn't know we had a Loom token.
Someone
No,
knows.
we don't have a name. I don't know. Did the community make one? I don't know. I would say that our token will not be called Loom. Let me just confirm that bit. I can't tell you what it is going to be called. We are actually just double checking with folks. We did decide on a name, and some of you already sort of, obviously, it's not very hard to guess a few variations of what it would be. But let's call it Powerloom tokens for now. Because when we addressed this in CoinList, we made it very clear. You need to hit a minimum threshold of 100 XP, and you need to pass KYC. So as long as you've done that, so you will get the equivalent number in tokens. So all this information is on the CoinList page, which has not been taken down right now. So if you guys want to take a look, coinlist.co/Powerloom-testnet. I think if some of you can drop the links in the YouTube chat, that'll be great. But yeah, it has all the details of what we're awarding, but it's pretty simple. It's essentially whatever your XP is, you get the reward, but the two criteria for it. So you need to be minimum 100 and you need to have passed the KYC.
Thank you, Sarup. There's another question. Great to see the team is getting bigger and the project is getting more professional. Thank you. Do you plan some more investment series? And is there any meeting you have with some whales?
Okay. That is an interesting question. Investment series. So it's like for them to invest in our project or other projects. I'm not a financial expert. I don't know if we are. And did you say meeting with whales? Like whales as in? Oh, okay, I get it. No, I see. Oh, I see. Interesting. And they're talking about cryptos. For a second, I completely misunderstood. Okay, I think we have some. I'm not a very full-fledged agent to understand what needs to be done here, but I definitely know folks who can come and talk about it. I don't know if we are the right platform to do this on ours, because the one thing that does happen is when you mention such words, right? Because then it makes it sound like Powerloom is an investment, which it is not. I have made it very clear from the very beginning, which is why we don't have a token from the very beginning. Like it was always about network and incentives, and people contributing and consuming, right? So that's pretty much it. So I think we're probably not going to be hosting it. If it's about considering that market activity has sort of picked up significantly and it's about talking in general in crypto investments. So I think there are definitely better platforms. I don't know if the AMA that we did with crypto miners, are they one of those platforms? But I'm sure there's some better ones. Interesting question. Okay, what's next?
There's another question. What were the testnet statistics like? Number of testers and those that are over the 100 XP thus far?
Got it. So I believe I shared the actual number. So we had about 20,000 people who attempted phase 2. Obviously, a lot of them did not get any XP because they did not connect the task or they didn't go through with it. Probably because when we made it very clear that you do need to KYC, some of the folks definitely did not go forward. Please do keep in mind, we were not, even though we had like some sort of server residence, there's a lot of people who would create a bunch of accounts. So I would take that number with a grain of salt in terms of what is the realistic one. So the one we track is sitting at around about 9,000 folks who have at least attempted a task. The reason I'm not sharing the minimum XP yet is purely because I don't want to disappoint folks who are probably waiting for the fix from Merkel's side on whether it's the KYC task or some other task. Especially the KYC task is about 40-45 XP, I believe. So that might put them across that 100 threshold. But I can confirm that we do not have we have not crossed the 5,000 threshold, right? So that means that as long as you had, and I think we made this very clear. These questions came up in Discord as well before during the holidays. That what happens if I get crossed the 100 XP and 5,000 people have reached, and I said as long as you've finished your KYC and you crossed 100 XP, you're going to get your reward. So we are guaranteeing that, and we would have ended the program if we saw that the number was getting closer. Right now, it isn't because a lot of people, sort of did not pass that. So we'll share a final number at the end. I think there's still some time that we want to give folks, but we'll share that later. Thanks for asking.
That's the last question we have.
Okay.
There's another question that I missed that says, you give details about the airdrop.
There is no airdrop. I think people do get mixed up with our incentivized testnet right now. And if you guys have noticed on Discord, airdrop is actually a blocked word, so you can't even post that. I see a lot of people asking these questions. So we don't have an airdrop planned, which is why we ran this incentivized testnet. We do have future incentives planned, and I will promise that this is not the end. This is just the end of the CoinList incentivized testnet program. So what we started, we actually made 2 phases, and we've been thinking about what is the next thing. That's going to be our goal, and so we will potentially announce more things, but no airdrop plan right now. So as long as you are part of the community, taking part in these incentivized testnet, that is the best possible way to get the incentives.
Thank you, sir. I think that's the last question. And since we're past the time, I'll just give some closing remarks and some little indications for the community. As always, follow us on our socials to stay updated on what we're up to. We're super welcoming everyone in the community to be involved in our processes. So if you have a question, a comment, some feedback, if you have an idea you want to build with us, please send a message on our Discord and we'll be in touch with you. There's some really cool content that our team has been released and will continue to release. So if you're looking out for interesting topics to read about, follow us. And just a quick invitation to tomorrow's AMAs with one of our team members, Sammy, on Block Talks. So if anyone wants to join and get to ask another question, we invite you to be there. Are you still around, Saurabh? Yes.
I am here.
Amazing.
Okay.
I think that's all on the remarks. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, you're the bystander.
Video to drop this time, so I was thinking about usually we do something fun. We do a drop of things, so I think I'll just give a little hint of what's coming very, very soon. At least before the end of the month, you will see a pretty significant announcement from us. There's a few hints I've been dropping all around the call today for you guys to understand what it's going to be about. But we are very excited towards it. And I think this time we're taking all of that feedback. There is an incentive part to it as well that we're working towards. We're trying to figure out how can we do that this time. And deal with if there is a KYC component, how will that work? If there isn't, how will that work? So all of those things is what we are trying to solve before we make this announcement. But the most important thing, what we are doing is working on a plan especially for our existing community that has been with us, who have been very active, whether it's all the way from our OGs, our testnet snapshotters, our phase 2 participants. So we're working on something special for you guys as well. So look forward. Follow us on this Twitter. Continue to find read our Discord announcements. When the announcement comes out, you will get some special treatment. So all those people who sometimes talk about, hey, what do I do with this NFT? I can't transfer it. It's going to be useful very, very soon. So I do see one person wanting to ask the question. If you can quickly ask it, that'll be great, because otherwise we're going to wrap it up.
I
see
was
a person.
already sending them to our Discord.
Yeah. So the best way is always please ask the question rather than asking to ask, because it's just easier. There's no latency, because I think by the time you see it, we'll probably have ended the call. Okay. I think I don't see it yet. So on that note, I think it's time to end the call. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. I know it's a bit late for some of you folks. We're just trying different times as usual. And yeah, please, again, follow us on Twitter, spread the word about Powerloom, and watch out for some special announcement on Discord later this month. Take care, everyone.